and the older kids know that if you go 1 for 4, make that one a big one and drive 2 runs in, and we've been able to do that.
You mentioned the home runs. That's the way the game was played back then. Everybody was hitting home runs at that time.
Yeah, that was the old bats and gorilla ball.
Yeah.
And, teams were hitting a ton of homers. So, and we have speed on our team. We still have a chance to steal 100 bases this year as a team, which is probably harder to do than it is to hit 100 home runs. So, and it's fun to coach that way, and it changes the way people play against you when they know you have that kind of speed. Even in yesterday's game, we load the bases with nobody out with 2 bunts and guys that can run. So yeah, this is a really fun team to coach.
When you look at elite teams, do you often see athletes in the field that run down balls and power arms, and you've got that on this team this year. Those 2 aspects.
Yeah, no doubt. We've pitched really well this year. I think we lead the Big 12 in pitching, and the only guy to get the credit for that is Pudge, because our catching philosophy here is it's your job to make sure the pitcher throws well that day, and Pudge does that. If you go watch a pitcher pitch when you're recruiting him and he has 2 outings, 1 good one and 1 bad one, recruit the catcher that caught the good one, because they control how kids pitch more so than anybody, and he's been unbelievable for 4 years at doing that, and the way he throws out runners, and the way he catches. And if they hit a ball before it gets to Pudge and it goes in the direction of center field, Brandon White is a game changer. That guy has saved us multiple runs, multiple games. He's as good a center fielder as I've ever coached. So right up the middle, pitching, catching, and there's guys in the middle of the field, between Tucker and Dones up the middle. It's a really special group right up the middle. And
you're calling the pitches. You're right involved in that again. You like that aspect, being pitch to pitch again, managing the game?
No, I'm good.
That keeps me in the game. I don't want to be a cheerleader, and just sit there and watch. I want to. I don't feel like I do much to help us win or lose, but I like to try. It's more fun to try. So, and that came from. I was a 2-way player when I played, and then I became a pitching coach for a while, and you just get so bored at practice, just working with the pitchers, just working with the hitters, because I'm used to doing everything. And it's really affected me not to be able to coach third base and do the things I used to be able to do, and throw batting practice and hit fungos and stuff. So that's about the only way I can stay in the game these days.
Now that you can look back with fondness, what were the chief limitations you had at Hawley Field, and how much has this facility changed everything?
Who says I'm looking back with fondness? No, Hawley Field was awesome. What a great article I just read about the 1955 team that hosted the Wake Forest series. The last time a quote-unquote regional was played in Morgantown. I just read the article a minute ago with some of the old-time players that played on that team. Eisenhower was president at that time. Bob, you know what I'm talking about over there.
I certainly do.
He liked Ike.
I voted for him.
But one of the all-time greatest baseball names in the history of baseball was in that article. The center fielder on the West Virginia 1955 team's name was Jack Rabbits. How about that for a center fielder? And what a great player he was. But just to read the old nostalgia of Hawley Field and some of those players that are still excited about what we're doing today just shows you how far this has come. But Hawley Field was great, man. I love Hawley Field. I love the atmosphere we had there, the energy in that place. The setting was beautiful. You got the Coliseum in the background. It's a shame that we were so landlocked back there that we couldn't have put this stadium there, because you want your stadium to be as close to campus as you can. So, yeah, without Hawley Field and the hundreds and thousands of guys that have played here on Hawley Field and dressed out of their trunks of their cars and didn't have locker, without those guys, we're not here,
Ask you, when you handed a lineup card and Augie was out there, when you brought Texas in here to play at Hawley Field, what did he tell you?
I just wanted to watch his reaction when you get off the bus in the parking lot you can't see the field till you walk around the left field corner. So I just wanted to see him walk around the corner. And when he walked around the corner and looked, he hesitated, like he was thinking about getting back on the bus. But no, he came out there, and I mean, that was great. We had great crowds back then. I think we had 2,500 in there for the Texas series when we played there, and you know, that was awesome. That's to have, you know, Carol Ramsberg come out there and her family and throw out the first pitch that weekend was special for them, and how much he meant to the program and all the guys that have played here, and just special times. They're all starting to come to the forefront now, just because we're hosting a regional.
Yeah.
People don't understand the impact that hosting a regional does for the entire community and state and alumni base. It's just, hopefully this will change the face of our program.
How about Augie having to share the bathroom with Tommy dinging out back behind the dugout there?
Yeah, my favorite part of Holly Field was, you know, when I had to use the restroom in the fourth inning, you stood in line with the rest of us.
That's right.
You know, that's when the fans were asking me why I bunted and why I took a spin in the pitch while I was waiting my turn, you know. So
Did you say, hey, I got to get back out there, we're hitting?
that's right. So, I mean, we do a lot better when I'm standing in the bathroom anyway.
Got to change the bunch.
Yeah, for a little while, yeah. But no, those are all the fond memories you're talking about.
What was the vibe like in the room when you see West Virginia pop up on the screen and the guys' reactions and stuff like that? And what did you say to them after?
It was a little different because we knew we were in. You know, the reaction today was more about who we're going to play than it was whether we're going to get in. And this is the first time, I think, in my career that I didn't find out last night what was going to be on the selection show. And I did that because I knew we were hosting. I didn't want to know who we were playing. I wanted to be surprised along with the guys. So when Ohio State got sent off, I was like, man, I thought we were getting the Buckeyes. And then Central Connecticut got sent off, and Army got sent off, and Quinnipiac got sent off. I thought, man, there goes all the teams I thought we were getting, you know. So, you know, Duke and A&M and Fordham. In 1987, when I was a player, we hosted a regional under the old format in 1987 when I was playing at Clemson. There were 8 6-team regionals. There was a 48-team field, and 8 regional winners advanced to the World Series. We were the number 1 seed at Clemson, and we opened with Fordham, who was the 6th seed. And Stanford and Mike Musino was in that regional. And we played Fordham 19 innings and used 8 pitchers on day 1. And really cost us an opportunity to win that regional. So I know what Fordham's capable of doing, and I want to make sure that our guys aren't looking ahead to who we might play second or who we're matched up with in a super regional if we win. This regional is all about playing Fordham at this point.
Speaking of, how's the rotation going to set up?
We're going to throw Nick Snyder in the first game. We put him out there yesterday in a championship game in a limited amount of pitches in order to get him ready for Friday. He's been so good for us all year long and has been, you know, pretty much dominant every time out. So I think he gives us a really good opportunity to win no matter who we're playing. So we'll roll Snyder out there, and AK will probably pitch game 2.
And in all seriousness, do you think you can continue to build off this to create the culture where maybe the people on the ground know exactly what's going on with you guys when you're...
You know, I hope so. I think the more people that learn about West Virginia baseball are going to be exactly what you said, impressed with the culture and the way we do things. And, you know, when we go to Oklahoma City every year and play in that tournament, it never fails that people come up to me and say, Coach, I love watching you guys play. Love the way you do things. You do it the right way. Really rooting for you guys. And I think the more people that get exposed to us are going to feel that same way. I don't know how anybody could feel any differently about West Virginia baseball than impressed with how our kids are or how our culture is, or this would be a great place to send your child to play for 3 or 4 years because they're well taken care of. they're going to develop as players and as people. You know, we talk about teaching them how to be good people and husbands and fathers, but hey, oh, by the way, we're going to have 6 or 7 kids drafted off this club that have never been drafted before. So we're developing players at a very high rate too. You know, just look at, you know, Alec Manoah and what he's facing coming up here. A week from today, I guess, is day 1 of the draft. So that guy was undrafted out of high school. You know, comes in here and develops and does it the right way, and just matures and becomes a tremendous leader, great teammate, and oh, by the way, you know, just turns into an unbelievable pitcher and is going to have a really good day 7 days from now, I think.